your flesh and blood.
Welcome to Tell Me Your Story with Dennis Henson. This is a brand new series we hope that you will enjoy, and it's called Body of Health. Dennis, welcome, and let us start out by telling people about, I guess best way to put it is our disclaimer.
Okay. Well, Richard, thank you so much for having me on this series. I'm really excited about doing this, but I think it's very important that everyone understand that neither of us are medical doctors or have any kind of medical training. We are just people who are very interested in health and being able to get better faster, so that if you have some problem, that gives you a place to go to find things that have worked for other people that may help you, or they may not, but there'll be something worthwhile checking out.
Body of Health is going to be here every week. The website that we're going to suggest you go to for information, number one website is dennisjhenson.com, which we will have in the audio and video podcast videocast. But there's also a Facebook location, and basically it's facebook.com/groups/body of health. Once again, facebook.com/groups, that's plural, groups/body of health. We hope that you will go there to check out the information that Dennis has provided with us. And with that, we move into Body of Health. I'm Reverend Dr. D. He is Dennis Henson, and we are here to help you live a better quality of life with our observations, the research that Dennis has done. And Dennis, it is always a pleasure to have you here to talk about all of these different things. And boy, I'll tell you what, who knows? Today, Dennis, might be one of the best shows we've ever done.
Well, I sure hope so. I strive to make everyone better than the last. And thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate working together on this project.
Of course, you know that's a play on words because of our subject today, and I'm looking forward to our conversation. The subject today is going to be about the best of everything, and we've gotten to this point in the program, which, by the way, I do have to let you know, Dennis, we're in the fifth month. The
Wow.
fifth month of this program, if you can believe that. And we've been talking about, for the folks listening, just always as a reminder, of course, you've already heard the disclaimer, but it can't be said enough. We are not doctors. We're just trying to figure it out like everybody else, doing the research. Dennis actually does the research. And, we are trying, we're all tired of the maybe. As well as the sometimes, and all of that kind of stuff. And I've talked about, all of the statistical information that is gathered, okay, across the board, the general standard for this is this, and this is that. Well, we're all individuals too. So, Dennis, what are we talking about this week when it comes to the subject of the best of everything?
Well, actually, the name of the program is The Best of Everything for Your Body of Health. So, of course, our overall name for this program is The Body of Health.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not a complicated list. We're just going to go straight through the list, everything from the best spice to the best root. And if you can incorporate these things into your daily life, your health will naturally improve. So I'm really excited about this. But before we get started, let's make the point that neither of us are doctors, and we haven't had any medical training. This is just research that we've done on our own. We both have had our health issues, and we both want to live long and feel good. So these programs are put together based on what we've learned, and we're just passing it along so that hopefully you can take something from it and improve the quality of your health.
Mm. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the best of everything for your body of health, and talk about what is called the power list. What is that?
Well, this is a list that I've put together with help and input. I do a lot of research when I'm walking. I listen to YouTube videos. I'm a member of a lot of different Facebook groups that have to do with health. I have my own Facebook groups that have to do with health. The Body of Health is one of the Facebook groups, and then I have my own website, bodyofhealth.life. And each time we have one of these radio programs or podcasts, I take all of the research that we did and put it into an article and put it on that website so you can go back and see the others.
Hmm.
But now we want to do our power list. And so, Richard, why don't you introduce the very first item that we're looking for the best of?
I will do that. As a matter of fact, we're going to start off with the best vitamin. I'm just curious as to what is best vitamin. I mean, because there's a whole alphabet.
That's true. Well, my research says that vitamin D3 is the most powerful and helps you the most. Now, you can get it just from being out in the sun. If you're out in the sun for 30 minutes every day, you've got plenty of vitamin D3. The problem is it doesn't stay around. You've got to continue to replenish it. So, on days when there's no sun or you're too busy or whatever, D3 tells your body to heal itself. It tells your organs, your bones, your arteries, your veins, and your tissues that they need to heal themselves. And without that to kick off the process, your body may not heal itself as quickly as it should, and you may not live as long as you are hoping to, and you may not have the kind of health and vitality that you would like to have. So the answer to the very best vitamin, according to my research, is vitamin D3.
And that's something also to keep in mind, regardless of what vitamins they are, because if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, but none of these things stay in the body permanently, which is it's a good thing that you have to keep putting in. It's like you got to keep putting gasoline in your car to keep moving down the road. You got to keep changing the oil and so forth. So you've got to continually replenish the body with these things so that it has the various elements to create what I like to call the uh, the natural or organic pharmaceuticals that help us to function at an optimal level. So, got to keep that in mind that it's not one and done. Matter of fact, there is nothing that's one and done, because if that were the case, well, then we'd be one and done. Now, there's another element here that we want to talk about here: the best shield of longevity, and it incorporates a number of different things. What is the best shield? I thought we covered that in like our very first program with that fountain of youth drink that we talked about right at the beginning of this series.
It does. If you're drinking the Fountain of Youth drink, you're pretty much covering most of these already. But the shield of longevity is a group of things that work together. The first one is apple cider vinegar. It cleans and prepares your body for healing, and it's very powerful. But if you take it in combination with vitamin D3, K2, and glycinate, magnesium glycinate, then you really have a powerful combination. In fact, it's the most powerful combination. So much so that in my Body of Health Shopify store, I've put a bundle together that incorporates all these where you can get them for a tremendous discount. But I thought it was so important that you had had a way to find these things. So let's talk about vitamin D. After you've cleaned and prepared your body with ACV. The vitamin D is like the building supplies to get things ready to go. K2 drives the supplies to the bones and to your organs, and magnesium glycinate powers the whole thing. So working together, this is such a powerful combination to help you live longer and have a better quality of life. So I call it the shield of longevity.
Well, we can all use that. And of course, in this day and age when we're bombarded by all kinds of different information and supplements and this and that and the other, obviously, if we could just get our foods to support us in that regard. Of course, organics, a lot of people talk about that as well. And for that matter, growing your own. If you can put a garden in, even better, because you know where that's coming from, you know how it's been grown, and you pick it and you prepare it and so forth. And I'm just seeing so many different little videos of recipes of things I never thought of. But have you ever thought of placing an entire lemon or orange in a blender? I mean, everything, peel and all, and just blending the daylights out of that thing, mixing it with a few other things to make one of the most incredible drinks. Not only does it taste good with these other elements added, but you're getting all the nutrients not only from the actual fruit inside the peel, but from the peel itself. And we've talked about this before, where when you, let's say you prepare a sweet potato. Oh, well, we're going to peel off the peels. We don't want the peels on there, or even a russet potato. Well, there's so much nutrition in the outer covering of that fruit or vegetable, and you really want to you really want to hang on to as much of that as you possibly can. And I know some folks, there are people who they're not real fans of orange juice, for example, with pulp. Okay, I get that. It's like, well, I really don't want to chew my orange juice. I get that. Let's move on to another one here, because that's sort of a general comment on my part. This is a word we hear quite often, and what we're going to talk about now is the best antioxidant. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. What is the best antioxidant, and what is an antioxidant?
Well, it's glutathione, and it supports your immune system, cleans and detoxes your body, and regulates how your cells grow. That's pretty important. So glutathione it's pretty easy to get that into your system by eating the right foods and taking the right supplements. So that would be something that you would certainly want to try to work into your diet.
Well, we certainly encourage people to do that. And again, I want to encourage you to go to bodyofhealth.life. Bodyofhealth.life. You can find out more about a lot of the things we're talking about here. They're available to you. And Dennis, I understand there is a way to get a little bit of a discount on some of these things that they'll find there at Body of Health, which, by the way, is growing. So I would almost want to say it's growing, Dennis, as we speak.
It is. I guess if you visit that website every week, you'll literally see it grow in front of your eyes. Yeah, if you use the code word or the discount code radio, you get a pretty substantial discount. I'm not sure, Jennifer, how much is the discount? 20%? 20%. That's
Wow.
pretty healthy discount.
It certainly is. Absolutely. Well, we encourage folks to go there and to find out more about what we are talking about on this program. Please do so as we continue. We're going to continue here on the Body of Health here on Tell Me Your Story. I'm Reverend Dr. D. He is Dennis Henson, and we neither of us are doctors when it comes to health and wellness. We're just looking into and finding information, and from Dennis's perspective as well, practical applications he has found for many of the things that we are going to be talking about. And today we're talking about the best of everything for your body of health. Dennis, we've talked about vegetables on a regular basis. I always find it fascinating when we do. There's always this question, as I have hosted another program called Farm to Table Hour, where I will be quizzed as to whether something is a fruit or a vegetable. And it's fascinating how that determination is made. But we're talking here about the best leafy green. Why is spinach the best leafy green?
Well, if you've ever watched Popeye, I guess you'll get the idea. It really is true because it provides more energy to your blood than any other green. It keeps the blood vessels flexible and protects your eyesight and vision, makes strong bones. So I guess that's why Popeye ate a lot of spinach.
Well, I can tell you, I love it. Now, my mother used to cook it, and probably for a while, as we were growing up, did not hang on to the water, and that's where most of the nutrients end up going. Even though it's kind of soaking there in the spinach juice, in the water that she's steaming it in. Um, but I absolutely love it. And then my wife, my present wife, and I, we will buy raw spinach, in the bags or the plastic containers, says baby spinach kind of thing. That's part of our salads. So we love it. It's really, really very good. Now, I have a question for you based upon this next item, the best vegetable. And before I share what that is, you differentiate between the best leafy green and the best vegetable. Now, is spinach considered a vegetable,
It
but
is.
it's in this category of leafy greens because you're kind of separating things out just a little bit.
It is. It's not it. Okay. The best vegetable, broccoli sprouts, is
Hmm.
better than spinach, but spinach is so good that I had to find a category for it. So you want to get them, you want to put them both in your salad. And broccoli's great for you. It contains sulforaphane, but the little sprout, the little tiny broccoli, contains a lot more sulforaphane for your body, which clears out the toxins from the cells, reduces inflammation, and inhibits tumor growth. So that's a pretty big deal in today's health atmosphere with so many people suffering from cancer. This is a cancer fighter.
Yeah.
So, and it tastes great. You put the little sprouts that just this big, you put them in your salad and you don't even realize you're eating them. But, or I like to eat them by themselves. I like to dip them into my dressing,
Hmm.
just pop them into my
Yeah.
mouth. I really like the taste of them by themselves. But if you don't, you just put them in your salad or on your pizza or whatever, and you wouldn't even realize you're eating them.
Yeah. I know that this is the name, I guess, that was given to this. Obviously, it was always there in, I guess it's France. But my mom used to make, let's say we're going to watch a ball game there on TV in the living room, and she would prepare this big platter with all these different vegetables and then maybe a dressing of dipping sauce or something in the center. And I always found that real interesting to where, yeah, well, hey, have a carrot or a piece of broccoli. I'm not sure she used cauliflower, but I know she used some other vegetables. I think that's referred to today as a charcuterie board or something like that. I don't know, but it you can never go wrong. Matter of fact, I actually made something like that for my wife the other day. Put together all this stuff on the plate, put it on the tray. By the way, that is basically how she usually gets her meals. I will bring them downstairs on a tray for the two of us, walk through the living room door with her beverage on the side and mine, and we'll just sit there watching the tube and having a nice meal. And she'll always say, "Are you sure you're okay? You sure that's not too heavy?" I said, "Hey, it's fine. It's just fine. I've carried heavier down those stairs, let me tell you." And it's really kind of nice. And obviously, eating the right things, like if I have some of the spinach, I've got no problem with those trays. We're going to move on to something. Now, this is I'm pronouncing this. All right, folks. This is the best oil, and I'll pronounce it Evu, and that's EVOO for extra virgin olive oil. Why is that the best oil for us?
Well, it lowers inflammation, and inflammation is the killer. I mean, it's what ages you, and it's what, causes heart attacks and strokes. Um, I know that after I had my stroke, the doctor warned me, you really need to keep the inflammation in your body down. That's the number one thing. It also lowers the bad cholesterol, the LDL cholesterol, and it protects your heart. That's a big deal. Reduces the risk of cancer and Alzheimer's disease. In fact, if you can't figure out a way to get extra virgin olive oil in your diet, you can put it on your salad, you can cook with it if you're careful about how you cook with it. You can take a spoonful of it every day. And it's even a painkiller. When you take a spoonful of the good quality extra virgin olive oil, and you know you get the best quality from the body of health.life, but you need to get having good quality of the oil. You take a spoonful of it, and the burn, you can feel it burning when it goes down.
Hmm.
Then you know it's working. And if you're in pain, if you have joint pain, if you've hurt yourself or whatever, um, it's better than an aspirin and much more healthy. I mean, the aspirins are good for what they're good for, but they also have a lot of terrible side effects. But the extra virgin olive oil doesn't. It's much better than taking drugs. Taking a spoonful of it at first may be a little bit unpleasant, but after you get used to it, you know, it's okay. Tastes good. I like the popcorn in it. I eat a lot of popcorn for the roughage, and my wife cooks with it. But now, if you get it too hot, you lose the value. So you have to be careful when you're cooking with extra virgin olive oil that you follow a certain process, which is easy to find. You just Google it. How do I cook with extra virgin olive oil? But the more of it you can get in your diet, the healthier you're going to be, the longer you're going to live, and the better quality of life you're going to have.
You said something that I think we need to focus on, and I asked this question of you when it came to obviously my issues, specifically type 2 diabetes. And this particular item's supposed to help in another area. That's the way I'm going to phrase it right now. And I asked you, does inflammation have anything to do with, and in my case, diabetes? And you said yes.
Yes,
And I found that, to be honest with you, I found it rather astounding that that was the case. At the same time, I'm going, well, golly gee, then what I really need to be doing is taking things that are going to help reduce my inflammation, not focus on the symptom, which
right.
is type 2 diabetes, but focus on the cause. And that seems to be, unfortunately, where our medical industry happens to stay focused on is the symptoms, and then we take the medications for them. And I just, it's like, wow, I don't see, I know about these things, but I didn't connect the dots. And that may be what we're really working on here is helping people to connect the dots.
Right. Every terrible disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, heart disease, stroke, can all be combated just by reducing the inflammation in your body. Your body works much better without having to fight inflammation every day.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it's one of those things where when you start realizing what the actual cause is, high blood pressure is the same way. High blood pressure is due to inflammation.
That's right.
I mean, and that seems to me to be just a logical uh, mindset. It's like, well, yeah, my blood pressure is it's like a hose, a water hose. All right. And you kink it, and what happens to the pressure behind the kink? It increases. So you get any kind of, I'm using the term in a very general sense, you get a kink in your veins or in your arteries,
Hmm.
like blockages or reduced pipe size, if you will, internal pipe size, then your pressure goes up. So I tell you what, there to me is like the real focal point. We are talking with Dennis Henson about the best of everything for your body of health here on the program, Body of Health, that we encourage you to go to dennisjhenson.com and click on the health tab and then go down. You can join a group that can be supportive for you. And that's really a good thing, too. We'll talk about that later on. It's on Facebook called Body of Health Group. You can also scroll down and look at all of the information that we've been talking about over, my goodness, the last 4 months. We're into our fifth. And all of that good information's there, along with, I'm sure, there are some recipes and all of those good things, as well as links to this program, this podcast, videocast, and so forth, which is available on SoundCloud as well as YouTube. And we're going to expand that over to Rumble as well. And we'll continue talking about the best of everything for your body of health here on Tell Me Your Story. The Body of Health is the program that you are listening to and or watching, and it's with yours truly, Richard Dugan, Dr. D, Reverend Dr. D, and Dennis Henson. And we're going to continue on here. Here's one that I am fascinated by, and my wife actually happened to find a box of tea with one of these ingredients in it that she didn't even know we had. We brought it obviously with us from our old place back in Santa Barbara. The best herb duo is turmeric and black pepper. Why is that duo, as opposed to any other dynamic duo, the best for our body of health?
Well, turmeric already does a lot of great things, reduces inflammation, provides antioxidant protection, improves digestion and gut health, and aids in glucose levels. But if you add black pepper to it, it increases its absorption by about 2,000. Now, that's something powerful to know. That's why I put this duo in there, because if you just take one or the other, they're both good for you. But when you combine them, it's it's like this explosion that happens inside your body. So now we were talking a minute ago about you didn't realize that inflammation caused diabetes or was not helpful. The reason we're going through all of this is, and you don't have to remember it all,
Mm-hmm.
is it if you just use the things we say, your body will naturally heal. So you you don't need to know how an automobile works. You don't need to know all of the little ins and outs and electrical systems and the pistons and how the compression. You don't have to know any of that. You just need to know how to turn it on.
Right.
If you turn it on and push the accelerator, you're moving. So the thing about this is, if you can just take these little things and put them into your life, you don't have to understand. You just have to benefit from them,
Right.
which is very powerful. And I've already done all the research and I've already put it up so that it's easy for you to go and find it and start putting these different things. And the result will be you're going to live much longer. When you reach 70, or if you've already passed 70, then it's going to help you get further. But when your body reaches 70, something goes off, a timer goes off, and everything just kind of collapses. I mean, you may get plantar fasciitis. You may get peripheral neuropathy. You may have a stroke. You may have a heart attack. You don't know what's going to happen. But if you've created this shield, this longevity shield, you just breeze right by the 70
Yeah.
and the 80, and you live a much longer and happier and more productive life, not having to be in the hospital all the time or
Mm-hmm.
taking all of these drugs that really, if you take enough of them, are going to do more harm than good.
I had one of those thoughts that young people do back when I was a young person. I'm not young in body, but I'm young in mind and spirit. And back then I used to think that I was immune to all of these different things that were out there. I was going to be just fine. I'll stay healthy. Now, I will tell you that my mother had had a lot of a say in that, okay? She really did. She did everything that she could do, but parents, they can only do so much. They can't control what you do when you leave, go out the front door, and that kind of thing. And so I will say that I did not support the work that she was doing quite as wholeheartedly when I was outside the front door as I did when I came home for dinner, and we had just incredible, delicious meals that were healthy, that were good for us. And she wasn't even trying per se. I'm sure in her mind she's saying, okay, this is good for them and this is good for them. But when she presented, it was just dinner or it was just lunch or breakfast. That's all it was. It wasn't here, eat it because it's healthy, it's good for you. And that is one of the things that I have come to realize. It's kind of like I used to think that having insurance, any kind of insurance, didn't matter. I was betting against myself. It's like going to Vegas and saying, "Here, let me just hand the $1,000 to the house because I know I'm going to lose it because the house is set up to win." Well, that is true. But when it came to insurance, I began to realize over the years as I lived on my own and then got married and everything. Oh, wait a minute. It's not betting against myself. It's protecting myself in case. Now, if nothing happens, you'd say, well, yeah, but look at all that money you wasted on premiums. Ah, it wasn't a waste because I had peace of mind knowing that if something happened to me physically or to the car or to the house, it would be taken care of. I wouldn't have to think about it, you know? And I know that you talk about this concept of worry, shifting from there to our health, that worry doesn't do you any good either way, you know?
That's true.
And share with us a little bit about that because I like that. I really do.
Well, I often tell my wife, of course, women are different from men. They are going to worry a little bit more than you do, but some of them go overboard. I like to say when that happens, I like to sit down and say, okay, what good is this doing? Why are you worrying? What is that going to change? Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. If it doesn't happen, the worry, you just wasted all that worry. If
Mm,
it does happen, worry didn't change it at all.
exactly.
Plus, the
Yeah.
worry is doing terrible things to your health.
Yeah.
No, it's causing your inflammation to increase. It's causing your body to have to work on combating your being down rather than increasing your health level. So worry is really, really a bad thing.
Yeah.
Being positive is really a good thing. We're going to cover something later on in this program about how positivity is really a great medicine for you. But yeah, just make it a point never to worry. Now,
Absolutely.
when something bad happens, you think, well, I've got to worry. Well, actually, you don't. It's your choice. You can look at it and say, well, life throws curves and things are, not always going to be the way you want them to be, but worrying's not going to help.
That is true. That is absolutely true. It's man, it's just not a good thing. Well, let's move on to another element here, the best bulb. But why is the best bulb in this case garlic? Why is it the best?
In my research about health, I think I run into this word more than any other. This is a very powerful healer. It kills germs and bacteria. It's good for your heart and it's anti-inflammatory, which means it's going to work on all those different things that we talked about: heart attack, stroke, uh, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, everything bad. And it kind of tastes good if it's cooked properly.
Hmm.
Now, I just don't think I could handle popping a fresh garlic in my mouth and chewing it up and swallowing it. That's just, I
Not
can't
going to
even
happen.
imagine. But working it into your salads and your foods and your
Yeah.
pizza and whatever that you possibly can, getting as much down as you can, maybe putting it in your body of health drink, which is there. You don't even taste it because there's so many other spices
Yeah.
and good things in there. But garlic's really good for you.
Mm.
And if you're an Italian, you probably already get a lot of it. And that's why Italians live a little bit longer than other people. It can be traced probably back to that single bulb.
I love the key word throughout this whole series has been and probably will continue to be anti-inflammatory benefits. That is sort of like the real key.
Yeah.
I mean, you can think of pretty much anything in this world that has a particular pressure. All right, tires. All right, your blood circulatory system, water pipes. I believe I would even say even electrical wires. It's a little different concept there, but the general idea is the same. If if you try to push too much down the into those areas without expanding the space, the pressure builds. Or if the area contracts and you're still pushing the same flow through, you're going to have a problem. I think in in electricity, we're talking about resistance. And
Yes.
if you're using a too small of a wire for a higher voltage or higher wattage, I think is what I'm thinking here, the wire starts to heat up and heat up and heat up until the insulation might melt, and then you got bigger problems. Then, this is Body of Health. I'm talking with Dennis Henson. We're chatting about the best of everything for your body of health right here on Tell Me Your Story. Anti-inflammatory. Oh my heavens. And we're now moving into the best spice here on Tell Me Your Story with Dennis Henson. The best of everything for your body of health. And one of my favorite spices that I put in my coffee, even put it in morning clarity, my friend, is cinnamon. Now, you got to get the right kind of cinnamon. Not, and I'll tell, this is the reason I say this. Okay, this is just my experience. If you don't have the right kind of cinnamon that hasn't been processed correctly or into the right way, it can turn into paste in the cup. I actually tried to mix it with the coffee grounds in the filter, and the filter began to fill up with water and didn't flow through because that particular cinnamon started to turn into paste. Now, I might want to get some of this cinnamon maybe to use in my mortar for laying bricks, but you
Yeah.
don't you don't want it in that respect. So you do have to get the right kind that's been processed in a certain way. And again, I've
And
used it before. Go ahead. Yes, Dennis.
and where would you get
Uh, I do believe there's a website, and it
that?
is called bodyofhealth.life. Please go there. I'm going to certainly avail myself of getting the right kind of cinnamon. And I know there's one, it's called Saigon cinnamon, but that's not the one you want. There's another one, starts with a C. I think it's CEY.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
It's solid.
that's really good. So let's talk about cinnamon and why it's the best spice.
Well, it'll be great for you. Anybody that's diabetic, it keeps your blood sugar from spiking. So you can literally, and it tastes so good. I mean, cinnamon
Mhm.
is great. You can put it on your desserts and on your toast. You put it in like you said, in your coffee. In fact, we've got a program coming up in the not too distant future about all the different things that you can put in your coffee and all of the benefits that you can get, and it makes your coffee taste better too.
Yeah.
Cinnamon lowers inflammation. There's another one, and supports heart health.
Yeah.
So this one is an easy and fun one. It's in the drink, the Fountain of Youth drink. And my wife drinks that every single morning. I have a different drink
Hmm.
because I've done a little bit more research and move in a different direction. But my wife likes the Fountain of Youth drink because she wants she wants to stay young, and I do. I want her to also, and it really works. It prevents wrinkles, helps your hair to grow. It does all this wonderful thing. But the Fountain of Youth drink was another radio program that we've already done. If you want to see it, just go look at the articles, bodyofhealth.live or dennisjhenson.com, and go to the health articles, and you can go back and find that recipe.
Well, we're going to continue this conversation because it's important for all of us to consider all of these possibilities to help to uh, build up our health and well-being. If you are living right now a quality of life, uh, I don't want to make any guarantees here, Dennis, but I half suspect that by following many of these suggestions on Body of Health on this program, uh, it's going to improve their health and well being from where it is. And if it's good, as I've said many times, there's always room for improvement.
Exactly.
Always. So I hope that you'll consider what we're talking about as we continue talking, Dennis Henson and I, here on Tell Me Your Story. Dennis, we're talking about the best of everything for your body of health, and we're going to move into the best mineral. Why is zinc the best mineral?
Well, it aids in DNA creation and cell division. It 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 empowers your immune system and speeds up healing of wounds, supports healthy cell growth, and protects your long-term vision. Now, who would have thought zinc? It also helps you sleep. I take a zinc pill along with some other things every night to help me sleep. And it's one of I have like 10 things. If you ever start to get a cold, that's another radio program we've got coming up that you're going to have to wait to hear about. But there's 10 things. Um, my my personal assistant, called me and said, I'm coming down with a cold. I took a picture, I sent it to her. Use these 10. Tomorrow you won't have a cold. She came in the next day totally well.
Mm.
Uh, that they really, really work, but you're gonna have to wait for
We'll,
for
we'll, we'll
tune
get there.
in tune in next week, and we'll cover those things. They're extra powerful.
Yeah.
But if you follow all the things that we tell you to do, your body's building up an powerful immune system so that you won't get colds and flu and COVID like everyone else does. You won't be so susceptible to things that are, where you can catch these bad things from other people. So take advantage of what we're telling you and build up a very powerful body.
Interesting. Heard a wonderful analogy to the whole immune system issue, and your immune system is kind of like um, a a military unit, okay? A military unit. Now, we all know that around the world, these different military units around the globe, they will do these training exercises, all right, to be ready for when they have to go to battle. We hope they don't, but they want to be ready. All right. Well, your immune system needs to be able to train. And the only way that it can train is sometimes to be hit by some of these things. And if you are fortifying it, if you are bolstering it and giving it I'll use the term, the weaponry that it needs to fight off these attackers on the inside of you, then it's going to be stronger. And I mean, I was a kid growing up. I don't know that I necessarily ate dirt, but I played in it. Obviously, with the dust and everything, you'd breathe it in, and it'd go into your system. And they say there that back when I was a kid growing up, and hopefully still today, there are these different microbes and all of these different things that are actually good for you. I mean, it's not like I have a tablespoon of dirt every day. No, that's not what I'm saying. Um, and so that's what we need to do. Now, the next best item that we're going to talk about, guess what, folks? We're going to wait until our next program because it's a key that we've been talking about. So I'll give you a little hint. It is a key. So, Dennis, wrap things up for us here in the last minute or so. And thank you so much for sharing what you have thus far.
Well, thank you for having me, Richard. I've really enjoyed this. I hope everybody will join us for the next group of the very best things next week. In the meantime, if you would like to get these things all written out for you in an article, along with all the other articles from the past programs we've done, go to bodyofhealth.life or DennisJHenson.com. Click on the Health tab. If you want to find my book, realimpactbook.com. That's for Real Impact Daily Inspiration. And I really appreciate you being here. And Richard, have a wonderful week. I look forward to talking with you again next week.
Yes, indeed. We will be here on the Body of Health series here on Tell Me Your Story. And until our next broadcast, podcast, video cast, love Talal. Jeanette, I'm still listening. Dad, continue to be happy because I am. Smokey, I'll see you on the other side. Mike, thanks for being in my life and letting me be in yours. And to my dear friend Zorro, aho, aho.